What's happening, party people? Happy Motivate Monday. Happy 2025. Happy New Year. Do you, all that good stuff. I was having a conversation and I was talking with a young man that I've done business with and been somewhat of a mentor to, and which I don't say that lightly. And I said something to him because I've been studying the reactive mind versus the responsive mind. The reactive mind is what we do to soothe ourselves, where we are looking for instant gratification, where we want that instant feedback. So that could be, if you have an addictive personality or you have addictions, maybe you're addicted to sex, maybe you're addicted to sugar, maybe you're addicted to entertainment, maybe you're addicted to gambling and the feelings that you get when you win something. Maybe you're addicted to feeling good. And so whatever that translates into, alcohol, drugs, thrill seeking. But this comes from the reactive mind because you're seeking validation for your feelings. And when you do that, you put yourself oftentimes, more often than not, in a vicarious situation and in something that you have a regret. Listen, we all know, okay, that the majority of pregnancies are what we call happy accidents. They're not planned, they're happy accidents. And sometimes they turn out incredibly well, and sometimes they're a freaking, crap show. So, but that's because people are living from the reactive mind. If you want to understand the reactive mind, look at someone who is an emotional eater. Look at someone who's dealing with baby mama drama or daddy, baby daddy drama or whatever it is. That's all from the reactive mind because those people came together seeking instant gratification, seeking immediate feeling validation through sex because somebody was giving them attention, and then, boom, baby's on the way. So understanding the difference between a reactive mind and a responsive mind. Responsive mind means that you're taking more autonomy over yourself. You have self-control, you have self-discipline, and you're thinking about the consideration of the choices that you're about to make, and you're thinking long term. You're playing it out. If I play this out, is this the right sequence? Hey, I met someone that I'm really excited about. Well, before we do anything sexual, how about I figure out what your credit score is? I have a friend, she wrote a book, I Can't Afford to Marry You. She's like, people out here messing around, dating and all this stuff, and they don't even know the credit score. They don't even know how that person thinks about money. So I think starting with a foundational point of, let's find out what your value system is. I'm not just looking to mess around and have fun. I want to build something with a partner. You see, you could be in a relationship with anybody. You can be in a relationship with anybody. Why? Because sex feels good. You can have sex with anybody. You can feel good with most anybody. It's kind of hard to mess that part up, right? And then what happens is sex and physicality can mask and cover up a lot of your deficiencies. And you'll find people, and you all know this, maybe it happened to you, 2-3 years in, you figure out the person that I've been messing around with, they have no goals. They have no ambition. The person I've been messing around with is a spender, not a saver. The person I've been messing around with doesn't believe in anything. They have no spiritual foundation. They don't believe in God. I do. Well, wait a minute. I didn't have this conversation, and now we're 3 years in, and now it's a hot mess because I did things out of sequence. And by the way, baby's on the way. Now I got to share my value system with someone whose value system I don't agree with because I was living from a reactive mind. So that's the power, ladies and gentlemen, of making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to be constantly in your responsive mind, not in your reactive mind. What happens when you're driving and somebody cuts you off? You get in your reactive mind. You immediately go from 0 to 100 real quick. How many of y'all have ever seen or heard of people getting killed over a traffic light because somebody cut them off? People getting shot, people breaking out windows with baseball bats because they got in their feelings and they were a reactive mind because of a traffic dynamic, right? So understand the power of that. But our responsibility and our opportunity is to harness that power and that energy and be responsive. Taking responsibility means being responsive and not being reactionary. How many of you all know people, they get set off by something real quick? You could say one or two things and push their buttons, and all of a sudden they're emotional and they're reacting. And it's reacting that gets people 25 to life, because now somebody's lost their life because somebody was being reactionary instead of being in a responsive mind. So that's the power of it. And if you don't want your life to be a warning, but you want your life to be an example, start living from that responsive mind. Now, we've all made mistakes. We've all done things that we regret. We've all, lost our tempers or said something we didn't mean, or we got ourselves in a situation where we were just spontaneously in our reactive mind and seeking good feeling. And the next thing you know, hey, 9 months later, I have a lifetime reminder of a reactive mind. Multiple STDs later, you have reminders of your reactive mind. An empty bank account, a negative bank account, you have a reminder of a reactive mind. We all make choices and decisions that are not the best. And it's an opportunity for us to pause and learn from that and say, you know what, how can I make a better decision? I can be more intentional. I can be more from a responsive mind. I can check myself when I find myself seeking that instant validation. Guess what? You can actually get instant validation. You can actually get good feeling from inside. It can be internal. And when you seek instant gratification internally, that's a better, higher level conversation with yourself. That's much healthier. It's much safer. It's a much greater outcome when you do it. You can actually take your behind to the gym and get yourself a workout on, break a sweat. That's instant gratification. That's a good feeling that you're creating. You're not looking for validation from outside in. You're creating validation from the inside out. Trust me on this. If you're down in the dumps, go work out. If you've been single for a while hey, I just want to feel good. It would be nice to get some attention from the opposite sex so I can feel good, or the same sex if that's your bag. Then go and look in the mirror and give yourself a freaking compliment, and then go take your behind to the gym and get that instant gratification, get that validation. We can get it from the inside out. And then if you start really focusing on loving yourself, that glow starts to happen. Guess what? You might attract someone who is worthy of your time and attention, who is worthy to be in your space, who will actually provide you some of the very things that you have now been giving yourself. Because when you learn to love yourself, that's attractive. And you will be attracting some higher caliber, higher quality people. What happens when we're in the reactive mind, we lay down with anybody. We get attracted to any old body because they're looking for the same thing just as desperately as we are. And that's why you have all these mishmashes of people that get together, and it's transactional, it's temporary, it's not lasting, it's not building a foundation, it doesn't really lead anywhere. Or you get involved in situations, or you're looking for that job and you end up in a job where you're miserable because you're in a reactive mind instead of a responsive mind. So this impacts every area of your life. I'm using relationship because it's something that we all know and we can relate to, but it's really in any area of your life, your professional life, your spiritual life, your health and fitness, what you're putting into your body. Listen, 80% of your workouts are in the kitchen, even though you got to work out every day. So I want to encourage you to really take the time to be intentional and catch yourself when you're in the reactive mind. I'm reacting versus responding. And as I said, because I've been studying this lately, it's top of mind. That's why I wanted to share it with you. And that conversation I had with that young man, I said, look, if you want to know about the reactive mind, look around. Look at all of the broken relationships because they were looking for instant gratification or looking for that feeling. And I remember I heard a pastor say, you out here getting 9 minutes of pleasure for 9 months, 9 months of pain, and then a lifetime of dealing with that the consequence of that situation, that choice. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the top of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity to do some very special things, and I want to encourage you with this message to go out here and do some things with a responsive mind and not a reactive mind.